Hi, these comments are for HF, and I am Michael from OTC, OnlineTOEFLCourse.com. And you're doing some integrated speaking practice. So, how about this? You sent me the actual listening practice, the lecture. Let's listen to the lecture first, and then I will go ahead and listen to your practice test. Then I'll make some comments and listen to it one more time so I can give you the most accurate score possible. Let's listen to it. So this is integrated task number 4. So listening. It's listening, speaking, academic.
Most animals, including humans, follow biological cycles that are 24 hours long. Now, what determines these 24-hour cycles? Do animals have something like a 24-hour clock inside them? Or are biological cycles determined by external factors, like the alternation of daylight and darkness? Well, research suggests that the answer is somewhere in between. Animals do have an internal clock, but external cues are important too. Take flying squirrels. Flying squirrels are nocturnal. They're active during the night and sleep during the day. But in an experiment, some of these squirrels were kept in constant darkness. They were not exposed to any daylight for about a month. Now, did the squirrels continue to follow regular cycles of activity? Actually, they did. They continued to have regular patterns of sleeping and waking. This indicates that animals do have an internal clock which regulates their activity cycles. But the internal clock is not precisely 24 hours long. Instead of following 24-hour cycles, the squirrels followed cycles that were about half an hour shorter than that. So every day they woke up a little bit earlier. Without external cues, without sunlight to fine-tune their internal clocks, the squirrels' biological cycles drifted. So what happened when the squirrels were exposed to daylight again? Well, after a month of darkness, a month of waking up half an hour earlier each day, the squirrels' activity cycle had shifted a lot. So at first, their schedules didn't match up with the normal day. They weren't active during the nighttime, as flying squirrels usually are. Instead, they were waking up in the middle of the day. But after a while, the squirrels' cycles began to change. Gradually, external cues, the cycle of light and darkness, adjusted their internal clocks. So eventually, they were brought back into a normal 24-hour schedule. Most animals, including...
Okay, we got it. Let's hear your response to the actual task.
The lecture is about biological cycles of animals. The professor states that there are two main factors affecting this cycle, which are internal and external. To begin with, the professor brings up the example of a flying squirrel. This animal is nocturnal, which means it sleeps during the day and wakes up at night. The main affecting factor of this sleep cycle is its internal clock. This helps the animal to stay awakened during the night. However, this clock is half an hour shorter than a regular day, which means after a month, the
Let me go back to listen what you just said there. Hold on.
clock. This helps the animal to stay awakened during the night. However, this clock is half an hour shorter than a regular day, which means after a month, the animal will start waking up during the middle of the day. However, the external cue, which is the cycle of dark and light, will affect the internal clock and makes the animal come back to regular cycle of sleep.
Okay, so I don't think you exactly captured everything from the lecture, but the lady was saying that the squirrels, there's a 24-hour cycle, right? But when the squirrels couldn't see the light in the dark, each day their cycle was about 30 seconds less than the 24-hour cycle. So eventually, after a few weeks, they got kind of off. Their schedule drifted from what it normally was, and then it took them some time once they're exposed to sunlight and darkness to make those readjustments. So I think maybe just some minor problems with topic development in terms of explaining accurately and completely what the professor said in the lecture. I think you can work on your tone, your intonation. I think that's important for you right now. You can learn more about that by going to pronunciation lessons 36 through 40. All right? Your score here, yeah, I'm going to put you around 23 on this. 23 points out of 30 on this practice test for the reasons I just described.